What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be previewing Port Adelaide's round 15 clash against the Western Bulldogs this Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval, 7:10 p.m. It's going to be a big game for Port, in particular to see whether or not they can keep this good form going, which they had against Geelong, against the Dogs, who unfortunately only went down to the Pies by 9 points in the thriller of a game, while Port Adelaide, as I said, got the job done against Geelong in a great, intense, pressurising game of football. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Port can get the job done against a plucky Western Bulldogs side who are actually in pretty good nick. But we'll find out. Let's preview this game and see how it will look this weekend. A couple of housekeeping things I want to get out of the way before we get into the preview. Cream of the Crop Clothing are having a special pre-order. Limited edition Prison Bar, 150 Guernsey. They're having a t-shirt that is on special, $60. So if you want to pre-order, the link is in the description below while stocks last. So if you get in now, you'll get one in preparation for when your pre-order comes. This is the only time they'll be making some. So if you really want one, I'd invest, because they're great quality and Cream of the Crop clothing. You got to help them out. So get on that, and you'll find the link in the description. Get on it. It's seriously good looking stuff. And also, a lot of people have been sending me DMs. A lot of people have been questioning whether this is coming or not. It finally has happened. The winner of the ThePear Guernsey competition. All your designs were fantastic. As I keep mentioning, they were fantastic. I really appreciate everyone taking the time out to create those. But there must be one winner. And the winner of a $30 e-gift card for the Port store is Nick Rivet, with his fantastic lightning bolt design Guernsey. It was an awesome design, man. So really quite grateful for you making that design. And everyone else, thank you very much for participating. We'll do some more videos along that down the line for sure, because it was a lot of fun and I reckon you guys enjoyed making them anyway. So we'll do that. But congratulations to Nick Rivet. All right, let's get into this preview. It is a big game, as I said, Saturday night. Port Adelaide taking on the Dogs, who are 15th on the ladder, 8 losses, 5 wins. Not in particularly great form. Did give the Collingwood Magpies a bit of a scare last week, and to be honest, they have been quite plucky all year, but they haven't quite got the job done. And I think that's due to, they've had a few injuries. They just can't quite get the game plan right. I think Luke Beveridge isn't the coach for them anymore. Stated that in my season prediction. Thought he'd get the sack, but he didn't. They've only beaten Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval once in 2016 in their premiership year, so it's kind of hard to gauge how well they're actually going to go. They've only won once at the Adelaide Oval in total, and that was the win against Port. The 6 times other than that they've played, they've been either smashed or haven't been in the game at all. So it's quite hard to gauge someone like the Western Bulldogs, who are, they're quite plucky. They can do the job. But also at the same time, are they really that good? And did Collingwood play at their absolute best? Which I think the same thing can happen to Port Adelaide this week. If we're even off our guard by 5%, the Bulldogs are going to take this one from us. So we have to be on and ready to go from the start. They're no pushover. So they've got quality stars in their side. You've got the obvious ones like Bontempelli. We're coming up against Jackson Trengove again. Caleb Daniels a great player. You've got Jack McRae in the middle there. And they've got a quality forward line with Aaron Norton, who's a great, big, strong contested mark. So it's going to be one of those things where we might even bring in an extra tool just to solidify ourselves and, really keep our defence intact, which they were fantastic last week against the Cats, keeping Hawkins to nothing. Had like 5 touches, no marks, no goals, not even a drip. So I think Clure will get the job on Norton. So that'll be an interesting task for Port Adelaide down in the back half. But I think everywhere else on the park, Port Adelaide are quite competitive, and they should do the job. Some game notes for you. Port need to bring this consistency from last week. The big question is, can they do it? Can we go 8-6? Really put ourselves in a strong position again, whereas last week we were like, oh, this is not good. We're 6-6, and our season's basically done. And all of a sudden now, with a win like that against the Cats, we've opened everything up again, and we need to keep this going. It's the game where we need to win the ones we should. This is a should-win game for Port Adelaide, but every fan knows that we're going into this game thinking, great. Are we going to win this one? I'm more nervous about this week's game than I was against Geelong. Go figure. Will be very different conditions. Expected to rain on Saturday night, so that's going to make things a little bit different for Port. We know we're not the greatest team to play in damp, wet conditions. We can slug it out. We are quite good at that, but it's whether or not we can be switched on mentally to be able to take it to the Bulldogs, who I reckon could do the job in those types of conditions, which makes it a very even playing field. But it is a big opportunity to consolidate a spot in the 8 and 6. You'll be 7th. You could be as high as 5th by the end of it. If Brisbane and Adelaide lose and we get a bit of percentage going, I think we could really set ourselves up with a showdown next week. Then we've got the Brisbane Lions, Richmond, and also the Giants. So it doesn't get easier. And these are the types of games you just have to win to continually build your momentum and keep it going. And I think we can do that. Talking about key players this week, though, it's another possible domination for Scott Lycett. Tim English is the ruckman for the Western Bulldogs, and I really feel like if Lycett was dominating players like Stanley and whoever else was in the ruck for the Cats last week, English is a young ruckman, he's developing, and Port Adelaide Lycett can just run all over him and really influence the contest yet again. He could have like 50-odd hit-outs this week and really just dominate, and the midfield will be thriving on the fact that we... Boak, Ebert, Wines, Robbie Gray, whoever else is in the middle there, will just be loving life under Lycett if that's the matchup that comes about. The big question is who comes in at selection, though, because we've got Amon and Howard out with 1 week bans each. Unfortunately, I thought Amon was a bit stiff. Howard, probably rightly so, off the ball. Bit of a punch in the gut, mate. Can't be having that. So who comes in? I'm suspecting Laddams will come in, and also Willem Drew. Both been fantastic form, both emergencies last week. And I really feel like they'll just come into the side, whether they're just 1 week onlys or they actually solidify their spot. I think Laddams is sort of that 1 week only type, with Howard and also Paddy Ryder Westhoff all going to play in the SANFL this week. And so Sam Powell-Pepper, Rockcliffe, you'll see all those types in the SANFL. It's going to be a big game for the Maggies, that's for sure. So a lot of big name players, and Laddams, Drew, easy slot-ins, I think. They don't change the structure too much. They don't mess about with the balance in the midfield, and we've got that extra tall ruckman who can help out Lycett if he does need a rest. If you're comparing these two teams, though, the massive difference is Port Adelaide dominate the stats, dominate the clearances, dominate the contested possessions, dominate the inside 50s. That's where we're number one in all three key areas. The Bulldogs are sort of mid-table. So if inside 50s, contested possessions, they're very big numbers. Clearances are number one. That's the key thing with Lycett as the big ruckman. If we're dominating clearances, getting inside 50, and we start converting, the Bulldogs are going to be in massive trouble. The Bulldogs are very efficient, though. Whereas Port Adelaide ranked 15th, the Bulldogs, I think, are first at 75% efficiency on average going in with their ball use. So, we could waste a lot of that ball, but we're getting first possession. We're keeping the pressure on in the forward half, and we're just going to really take it to the Bulldogs. And I think if the Bulldogs are going to have any chance this week against the Power, that's the key areas they're going to match it in, is in the midfield. I can't see us losing. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like the same as last week. A little bit more nervous because I'm like, we could possibly lose this. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I can see us doing it. It's going to be a nice, it will be interesting conditions for us, but I can't see us losing. 37-point winners, I think Port Adelaide will be. And, we'll see I think we'll see an even spread of playing players doing well this weekend. There'll be no standouts, and I'm kind of hoping Robbie Gray or Travis... Actually, no. I'm hoping Travis Boak gets the 3 votes because his Brownlow stocks are going up, ladies and gentlemen, after last week's performance. He would have got probably 1 vote last week. So, and that's it, Port fans. That wraps up this round 15 preview of the Port Adelaide Football Club taking on the Western Bulldogs this Saturday night. Not a lot really to discuss in terms of how this game will pan out. Pretty straightforward. Port Adelaide don't turn on mentally. The Western Bulldogs are going to take this one out. It's as simple as that. But I'll be there cheering on the boys. It's going to be a massive game, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, it's going to be exciting. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content. Check out the vlog from last week's game against the Cats. The review as well is up. Thank you so much for the support as of late. It's been absolutely phenomenal. We're climbing to 2,000, so it's going to be a very fun few weeks until we get to the big number. Thanks for watching, Port fans. My name is Anthony, and as always, come the